when the patient has to act to prevent something from happening, I feel a little nervous about that.
Some doctors switching patients to less powerful generic drugs without telling you they're paid to do it. Team 5 investigates. Lipitor is the #1 selling drug in the country. It lowers cholesterol. It's also expensive.
So insurance companies are pressuring doctors to switch patients, maybe even you, off Lipitor and onto cheaper generics. But many doctors may be leaving out one important fact when they do. Here's Janet Wu with tonight's Team 5 investigation.
The memo appears innocuous. Doctors throughout the state have received similar instructions. Switch as many patients as possible from the more expensive Lipitor to the less expensive generics like Simvastatin, Pravastatin, or Lovastatin, which they admit is not the same.
It's not as powerful, but the vast majority of patients you can get to goal with Simvastatin. And if you can get them to goal for less money to society, less money to them out of pocket, that's what we should do.
Less money for everyone except physicians. Many doctors are getting financial incentives from their insurers through a complicated formula if they switch enough patients off of brand names onto generics. Now, patients see that they're saving money on their copays, but do they know their physicians are making money?
Everyone benefits. The insurance company benefits, the patients benefit, and the providers benefit.
Providers being the doctors.
Right.
The patient has to know that the doctor has a financial incentive in making the switch. If the patient doesn't know that, the doctor is not acting as a professional physician.
But to ensure they're maximizing this financial incentive, Emerson Hospital took it a step further. Earlier this year, it instructed physicians in its network to mail the automatic switch letters provided to the patient. If no response from the patient after 3 weeks, doctors were told to call the pharmacy and change the prescription to generic alternative.
I guess I don't really see an ethical issue there. Patients have it done for them, so they don't have to take any active steps. It's meant to be a convenience.
But even the head of Partners Physician Network, of which Emerson is a member, frowns on this system.
I get what you're getting at, because when the patient has to act to prevent something from happening, I feel a little nervous about that.
But Dr. Lee defends the practice of moving patients off Lipitor, saying their own financial gain is not their primary motive.
For any individual doctor, they can never ever figure out, if I give you this generic instead of a brand prescription, I'm going to take home X dollars more.
But they also know the more patients they switch over to a statin or to a generic, that in the end of the year, their practice will benefit financially, no?
If they're more efficient, they will be better off.
Financially.
True. Right.
But other doctors complain these efficiencies are anything but that. They say the paperwork is overwhelming. If they don't make the switch, they have to explain why. And then there's the expense of retesting, only to discover the generic didn't work for some.
And I've seen in many of my patients who've been switched that not only has their cholesterol gone up, but their triglycerides have gone up.
This, said Dr. Friedman, leads to more paperwork, more testing, and more cost to patients. For Team 5 Investigates, I'm Janet Wu.